floe that broke away from land. There were ice fishermen out on a floe that broke away from land, and they were separated, so they were technically away from a break between the land and the lake.
Mm-hmm. How many people have been rescued?
We've rescued more than 150 people, and unfortunately there were 2 people in the water. One of those people were recovered and brought to shore. The other gentleman was transferred to Magruder Hospital in Port Clinton, Ohio, and unfortunately was later pronounced dead.
Okay, so 1 death, you've rescued 150. Are there still people who are trapped?
The Coast Guard has a helicopter and from Air Station Detroit and a C-130 which flew in from Elizabeth City, North Carolina, and they're just surveying the ice floe to make sure there's no one else on the ice floe or that everybody that was on is accounted for.
And tell me about how unusual this kind of rescue is. And you're talking about this many number of ice fishermen. Lake Erie, clearly this is something a lot of people like to do on the weekends and other days during the week for that matter. They're on Lake Erie, but this is a huge number of people all at one time.
That is a large number of people, but ice fishing and recreation on the ice is a culture in the Great Lakes, and it's something that we've become used to. But if anybody's in distress, whether the water is frozen or whether the water is fluid, the Coast Guard and the multiple agencies that participated in today's response are more than willing to assist, and that's what we're here for.
All right, Coast Guard Petty Officer Robert Lanier, thanks so much for joining us. Also on the line, the Sheriff of Ottawa County, Ohio, Bob Bratton. All right, Sheriff, tell me how difficult this rescue mission has been.
This cost the taxpayers a ton of money. We lost a life out there today. The water was separated. There was a break. People should not have been out there. I take a whole different approach. In our financial status going across the country, this was wrong. These people endangered lives of volunteer firemen, the United States Coast Guard. I have estimated already we're well over $25,000 for this, and I'm sure that's going to climb. I'm sorry a man lost his life out there today. These people should have known better.
Sheriff, you sound angry about this. We're talking about warming temperatures that you all have experienced in that area. And is that in part why you're saying these people should not have been out there because they should have known the risks involved when you've got the potential of ice melting?
Absolutely. They had to build a small bridge to get from one section of ice to the other. When they got to the other, that put them farther out. The weather changed. The temperature went up. The winds was coming out of the south. These are all things that are indicators. People that were out there today, as far as I'm concerned, were not professional fishermen. I've met with fishermen. This is a culture, as the Coast Guard refers to it, but it's also, it was dangerous for everybody out there. And I'm sorry, this was a ton of money that should not have happened.
And besides money, you're also talking about the danger it imposes on the rescuers who put their lives on the line all the time to carry out duties like this.
They do. And I was there. I watched it. Again, I'm very, very sorry that this fisherman lost his life. But you know what? We had 70 rescue people out there. We had 15 fire departments. And, it's just really, really frustrating that we had to engage in this type of activity today.
So when you have situations like this, conditions as such, warming temperatures, are there signs posted? Is there something to at least discourage fishermen, ice fishermen, from taking such great risks on a day like today?
No, there is not. There are only websites that you can go to.
All right. Well, I wonder if that's something that you all will then be investigating to try to discourage ice fishermen from putting their lives in jeopardy as well as the rescuers if some unforeseen circumstances were to occur. Do you think that's something that might be looked into further?
Well, I think you bring up